What's up everyone, it's Ria. Today I'm going to be talking about Saturn moving into Pisces. What does this mean? What can you expect? And I will also be going through all the zodiac signs and explaining to you how this will impact you. And also I'll be doing a presentation on Saturn in Pisces. So stay tuned for that. You can check out the description box down below to find timestamps. Now, Saturn, Daddy Saturn as I like to call him, you gotta play by his rule book. You gotta play by his rule book. You gotta submit to him. Otherwise, he makes the journey difficult and challenging. He's a malefic. He makes life more serious. He brings the melancholy, it's not rainbows and unicorns like Jupiter. Jupiter brings expansion and also abundance. However, Saturn, I guess you could say he does bring expansion and abundance too, but not in the way that you would expect. He brings expansion and abundance by making you take responsibility and accountability for your past actions. He makes you really clear the karma, clear the skeletons in the closet so that you can grow and evolve, so you can mature, keyword there, maturity, so that you can also expand your consciousness and evolve so that you can make room for abundance to come in. Because sometimes, we have a lot of skeletons in the closet and we want to attract and manifest, but there's a lot of things that are stopping us. There's a lot of karma that is stopping us. And Saturn is like the karma collector. He will make you release the karma, the karmic debt that you owe. He don't play. Daddy Saturn does not play. Like, he is truly like the wise sage, the elder, the authority figure that puts you in check, that gives you the truth even if you don't like it. And that's what you need in life. You need a reality check. And with Saturn moving into Pisces, yes, reality checks upon reality checks. Like, life ain't gonna be cute. The Pisces energy is all about fantasy and spirituality and rainbows and butterflies, and life is like a movie, life is Disneyland. But Saturn will come and break and shatter and stamp on those rose-tinted glasses, and it's gonna be a harsh, rude awakening for a lot of people. And it's needed. It's needed because after all that has been going on since 2020, people are still living in la la land. People still think life is going to go back to normal. They're not catching up on the agendas. They don't understand what is going on, or they're actually escaping reality. And the thing with Saturn moving into Pisces is the escapism that you've been indulging in, the euphoria, the fantasy la la land that you've been in. It's time to sober up and time to go to rehab. Like, that is Saturn in Pisces. Saturn will drag that rug right off your feet and show you all that is tucked in, all that you've been avoiding, all that you have been hiding and shoving under the carpet, under the rug. Yeah, you gotta acknowledge it now. You gotta look at it, confront it, and do something about it. Like I said, Saturn is the karma collector, so he makes you take responsibility and accountability for all your actions, all that you've been avoiding. And with a Pisces energy, sometimes avoidance is huge because it's all about drifting away and living in the imagination, living in fantasy. And sometimes, the shadow sides can be psychosis as well. And if you look around, collectively, we are under collective psychosis. It's unfortunate to say, but that is the reality. And when Saturn moves into Pisces, the psychosis may just increase. It may just increase, but really what Saturn is doing is making you look at the harsh world, the harsh reality, and stop escaping and take responsibility. Saturn doesn't want you to drown in your tears. Saturn doesn't care about that. Saturn doesn't care how emotional you are, how much pain you're going through. Saturn is like, get up and use your time and energy wisely. He is the Lord of time, the Lord of karma. He's here to teach us that we have one life. Yes, we have multiple lives, but you have the one life as you right now. The name you have, the body that you're in, the vessel that you're in, who you are right now, you get the one chance only. And all we have is time and energy, and how we utilize our time and how we utilize our energy. So you got to make choices in life. And you got to make wise choices. And that's what Saturn is here to teach you. And Saturn, yeah, he comes with a melancholy. It's very bleak. It's very dull. It ain't no rainbows. Like, it ain't cute. It ain't pretty. You may not want to hear the truth, but it has to be said. That's Saturn for you. And Saturn will help you grow. If you surrender, if you submit, if you play by Saturn's rule book, He will help you grow and evolve and mature. And when you take responsibility and accountability, when you work hard, use your time and energy efficiently and wisely, and when you prove yourself to Saturn that, hey, I am sober, I'm not part of the collective psychosis, I'm taking responsibility, I am removing those rose-tinted glasses, I'm actually throwing those rose-tinted glasses in the fire, I'm letting them burn. When you prove yourself to Saturn, that's when Saturn delivers. That's when Saturn rewards you. You just gotta submit and play by his rule books. He doesn't care how hard it is for you. He doesn't want to hear the complaining. He doesn't want to hear the moaning. He just wants you to get to it. He wants you to get to it. And that is Saturn in Pisces in a nutshell. And it's fascinating because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is currently in its home sign of Pisces. And this has been, it's been cute. We had Jupiter in Pisces, dreams and the imagination and the arts and spirituality. It was like, being in La La Land and fantasy and what have you. But when Saturn moves into Pisces, that's all going to change. That's going to change. Spirituality is going to get more serious. People are going to have more reality checks. A lot of people are going to completely jump ships. Like, they may just feel so repulsed by all that they were practicing, all that they were believing. There may be some religious extremes as well. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I've been shown. There may be a lot of false light teachers and gurus and the devil in disguise, basically. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Check out the timestamps, check out your zodiac sign predictions, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love. On March the 7th, 2023, Saturn will move into watery Pisces. Now let's take a look at, what does Saturn mean? And what will that mean for us collectively as well as individually? Saturn rules over the very structure of our matrix. And in this 3D world, it's the dark matrix. Duality exists in absolutely everything, in all creation. So there's a true divine organic Saturn, which is the elder, the wise one, the sage, the teacher. And then there's the hijacked false Saturn, which wants to control us, take our life force, wants us to play by its rules and agendas and abide to it and worship it in a way as well. Many fear Saturn because of the limitations, the restrictions, the control it brings. Just think about Saturn in Aquarius, the old versus the new, restriction versus freedom. We were fighting for our freedom, fighting for freedom over our speech, our choices, freedom over our bodies. And this will continue. This will continue until this false dark Saturn crumbles. Until it crumbles and becomes ash. And when it becomes ash, then like Pluto, like the phoenix that rises, the organic, divine Saturn will come back online. Saturn is known as the Lord of Time, the Lord of Karma. Time and karma, they are one and the same. As our time here is karmic, and how we use our time is either by balancing the karma we have accumulated from other lifetimes and past experiences, or we can either use our time by adding to the karma. And Saturn will always give you a reality check. When Saturn is hitting something personal in your chart, whatever area of life it's transiting, that area of life does get more bleak and dull. It gets more serious because Saturn reminds you of your limits and it brings forth restrictions. It reminds you and reveals your responsibilities. If you haven't taken any accountability of past actions, it will bring it to the forefront. It will push you to concentrate on that area of life and make you get more structured and disciplined and work harder towards it. And ultimately, it's going to help you clear the karmic debt. Because the true organic Saturn is the elder, the wise one, the teacher, the wisdom keeper, the one that guides you through your initiations, who makes you also confront your responsibilities so that you don't drift away, so that you don't lose track of why you're here, and so that you don't waste time So you take accountability, so you use your time wisely, so you can confront your fears. And it will teach you self-mastery. It will remind you of the God within. It will remind you that you have authority over your own life. You are in control over your own life. And I was shown the vision of the Pisces symbol, which are the fishes, which represent the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, earth and ether, unity, higher consciousness. And I was shown Saturn's rings around these fishes. And the Saturn rings represent the hijacked Saturn, represent the binding, the dark magic, the control that has always challenged our earth and ascension. And what this shows is that the fishes are us. We are the feminine and the masculine. We are the yin and the yang. We are earth and ether. We are multidimensional. We are meant to swim like the fishes, free and expand. But here in these visions, I see rings. And these rings are symbolizing that our consciousness is almost going to be used against us. Our very essence, magic, is going to be used against us, whether it's the masculines against the feminines, whether it's the logic against the intuition, whether it's, earth against other realms, the lower consciousness against the higher consciousness. It's almost like binding our consciousness, using our essence, our magic against us, putting us against each other. It could be through spirituality and religion also. There's a possibility also of censorship when it comes to spirituality and divination. I mean, we've already been seeing it, but this could escalate even further. This could, when you see spiritual and divination content, I mean, they could be labeled as misinformation with this transit. The dark Saturn is going to try to take away our spiritual freedom as well, our freedom to think, our freedom to feel, our freedom to connect with all the magic that is around us, that has been gifted to us. There could also be restrictions when it comes to healing. The Pisces and the Virgo axis represent health and consciousness. You have Virgo that represents earth alchemy, and then you have Pisces that represents quantum healing, higher divine healing. There may also be the rise in sheep in wolves' clothing, false gurus, false leaders, tricking you and pretending to be divine, leading people astray. This is Saturn using the dark hijacked Saturn using spirituality, using consciousness against you, using it as a weapon. And using puppets to do this, where there's false gurus, false leaders, leading people astray. And I've been seeing this for so long, just develop slowly, and it may just get even more crazier. I mean, the very person that you look up to or you aspire to be like, or someone who you romanticize may be one of those false light gurus, false light teachers, and you don't even know. But you see, Saturn in Pisces, the positive manifestation will break the illusions, will break and shatter the rose-tinted glasses. However, the negative manifestation is you could just become addicted to what this false light teacher guru is telling you, and you become addicted, and you become like, you go under a hypnosis. Like Pisces is also hypnosis. Like you go under a dark hypnosis through this person, and this person is able to impact your consciousness to the point where you're not even in control of your thoughts and your mind and your reality. Like that is the very dark side of Saturn. The hijacked Saturn has to do with controlling others, but the true Saturn has to do with putting your future in your own hands and not letting anyone determine it. Know the difference. The true Saturn will remind you to honor the God within you. So be mindful, because the false light awakening is going to get even more wilder. A lot of people are on the path of false light awakening and they don't even know it. It's like this trippy ride for them. They're hallucinating on it. They don't even know that. They're under the collective psychosis. But those that are on the true light awakening can see the falseness, can spot it, because their intuition will immediately tell them. There's no mist, there's no fog. They see clearly. They see through the false layers. They see through the mist, the haze, the smoke. They see light and the dark. And they can see true divine light and false light. They can see divine darkness and the negative darkness. And I want to end this by saying something that I was reminded of by my guides. And that was, there's a difference between spirituality and Christ consciousness. There is a huge difference. Lighting up sage, wearing crystals, meditating does not expand the consciousness, does not make you reach higher consciousness, does not expand the heart. I mean, they help, but doing all those things does not determine how unconditionally loving one is, how compassionate or empathic one is. Because a lot of people who play with the dark arts and are negative, who are negative polarized beings, they also work with these things in a different way though. Expanding consciousness, reaching your personal ascension is all about the Christ energy within you and how much you embody it. And what does it mean to you? And how do you hold it? How do you carry it? How do you become an embodiment of it? And it all goes back to the heart. And many people during this time will be stuck in their ways. Pisces also is addiction and illusions and escapism. The harsh reality can make some people just completely detach from reality, or even Saturn can give them reality checks after reality checks, but sometimes it's just, no matter what opportunity you get, some people are too stuck in their ways. So the positive manifestation of Saturn can expose a false light. Those who have the third eye open will see it. And those that want to stay in escapism will ignore the signs, because it's much more easier to ignore the signs. It's much more difficult and challenging to see truth for what it is, and to digest truth, and to overcome any type of betrayal or hurt. That's difficult and challenging. And the strongest of souls get through it. But others would rather not acknowledge it because it breaks all their illusions. And then they have to deal with the truth, which is too much for them. And this Saturn in Pisces transit will reveal the false light. And how Saturn reveals truth, how it teaches you lessons, how it makes you wise is by and then through the restrictions, the limitations, the obstacles. That's how you will be able to see and understand what's really going on. Through those blocks, the limitations. And you see, the dark powers that be, they want you to be on the false light awakening. Because when you're on that false light awakening, then you can easily be controlled. You become a puppet on a string. And they're using spirituality, they're using your love and the light within you and your compassion and your empathy and your spirituality as a weapon. They're using it as a weapon. And there may be just so much conflict between spirituality and religion, or spiritual groups, movements, and religion. I mean, I'm already seeing that already. One against the other. It's just crazy. Attacking each other, trying to limit, like it's like the witch trials. And there may be, during this transit, some people just let go of their spiritual practices because they don't align with them anymore. They may jump ships. That could also be the case. Because perhaps you realize, oh, the things I was doing, they're actually not in alignment with me anymore. Saturn makes you sober up and see truth. If you truly want to see it, if you're ready for it. And at the end, Saturn will reveal the psychosis that humanity is under, the collective psychosis. There will be confusion, there will be deceit, there will be lies. Like, it's the false light awakening. Now let's get into how Saturn in Pisces will impact you individually. The timestamps will be down below. Check out your rising sign. Aries, Aries rising. Saturn will be transiting your 12th house. And this is huge when it comes to the past, when it comes to clearing karmic debt. Anything from the past that has not been addressed or that has not been acknowledged, or where you've not taken accountability or responsibilities, anything you've brushed under the carpet will come out. And you will have to confront all that has been hiding, like the cobwebs, the dust, the demons. They will come out. This is the area of life that rules over the past, the hidden, the subconscious, the unconscious, fears, paranoias. This is the area of life that it's very serious. Like, yes, there's beauty to it because it also rules over spirituality and creativity and the metaphysics. But when Saturn enters your 12th house, it activates in a more serious way. You've had Neptune in your 12th house, and that may have been lovely when it comes to your creativity and your imagination and your spirituality. But when Saturn moves into your 12th house, that's when things get serious and you have to kind of confront the demons. I mean, there's no real nice way of putting it. And that's Saturn. Saturn is like, I'm not going to give you the Neptune version. I'm not going to give you the fluffy bunny, toxic, positive version. I'm going to give it to you raw and real, and it may not be what you want to hear, but it's what you have to hear and listen to, because it's reality. So when Saturn moves into your 12th house, it will be breaking and shattering any rose tinted glasses, anything that you've been romanticizing or glamorizing. Like, Saturn will make things crystal clear to you and make you take accountability of any past actions, anything that you've been avoiding. It will make you confront your demons. And this is a time where you have to take care of your mental health for sure, because with Saturn, when it's impacting the 12th house, which can be very personal, it will impact your mind, your faith, your hope, your spirituality, and you may feel very isolated. Saturn definitely comes with the melancholy, and life can feel a little dull and bleak. So this is a time where you have to really make the effort to take care of yourself, to really do things that uplift the spirit. You may feel like you just need to be away from people, or you may feel isolated. You may not feel like you're in the mood to do happy things, but it's essential that you do, so that the darkness that Saturn often brings, the harshness that it brings, doesn't impact you to the point where, your mental health is not healthy. So that is something to be very mindful of. Now, Saturn wants you to clear the karmic debt. So it's not like you're going to be punished during this time, or that you are a bad person. No, none of that. It's just Saturn wants you to clear the karmic debt so nothing haunts you, so that you can release, or you can clear anything that does not serve you, anything that you need to let go of, and so that you can move forward, push forward, and continue with your beautiful life. Life is a gift, and not have to worry about anything following you from the past. That is all. And it's not the most funnest thing to do, but it's, Saturn would say, you gotta get to the work, you gotta apply the discipline, and it is what it is. Be adult about it. Like, that's what Saturn would say. However, you may turn to your spirituality during this time to find a more deeper sense of meaning and purpose. Your spirituality will definitely develop and expand. For some people, they may feel like they just have given up on their spiritual beliefs and practices, because perhaps they weren't completely in alignment with who they truly are. Because Saturn will get rid of any fluffy bunny type of spirituality, anything that is toxic positive, like, Saturn will release it. So for a lot of people, some people may be turning away from their spiritual beliefs and philosophies. Like, those practices and beliefs may just completely shift. You may just also release them, because they may not be resonating during this time. And just honor that process. Whatever doesn't resonate with you anymore, whatever doesn't connect with you anymore, let it go. You're feeling that way for a reason, and that's okay. I mean, I would expect that with Saturn in Pisces in your 12th house, because the 12th house is associated with Pisces. So let whatever needs to be released, let it go. But for other people, this could be a time where your spirituality gets more serious, and you take it more seriously. You become more structured with it. You can also get more structured with your creativity and your artistic abilities. If you work in the field of art or music, anything artistic, this may be a time where you get a lot of work done. If you have started a project in the past and you didn't really get around it, or you really wanted to do something, this could be a time where you really just put all your energy and time and effort, and devote yourself to it to get things done. And look at what planets you have in the 12th house, because whatever planets you have in the 12th house, that will give you a more profound idea of how Saturn will be impacting you. But at the end of the day, Saturn always makes you take responsibility. It makes you address the past. It makes you release all that does not serve you. It makes you put in the hard work and clear any karmic debt. Taurus rising. Saturn will be transiting your 11th house. Your 11th house rules over friendships, groups, networking. It rolls over your hopes and wishes for the future. So when Saturn moves into your 11th house, there may be moments where you don't even feel like socializing. You may feel like you just feel isolated. You don't feel like going out, you don't feel like hanging around with your friends. You may feel just this darker energy, just like a gray cloud on top of your head. And that's very normal with Saturn because Saturn, he's not unicorns and butterflies. He brings a lot of melancholy. Life does get a little bleak with Saturn. However, it depends on your chart. It depends on everything else that's going on in your chart, and this won't apply to everyone. But for the most part, wherever Saturn transits in your chart, like it does bring the bleakness, the gray clouds with it. So this could be a time where there can also be endings with friendships. Like there's some people that just don't align with you anymore, so you release people. You don't feel like Saturn is all about growth and maturity, and you may be thinking, okay, can these people really grow with me? Do I feel like these people are in with me for the long term? Saturn makes us sober up. It gives us a harsh reality check. It makes us look at the future. And you already have experienced this since Saturn was in your 10th house of career. And now Saturn is like, okay, look at the people around you. Are these people going to grow with you? Are they going to evolve with you? Will you be able to mature with them, or are they maturing with you? Are they able to take responsibilities? Are they able to take accountability? Are they disciplined? Are they structured? Because you've had to learn all these things with Saturn in your 10th house, and now you have to look at your circle, your social circle. You have to look at the people you're around, because Saturn is going to make you clear the karma, clear any karmic debt so that nothing can follow you into your future. And this also may be a time where you could also perhaps meet older people. You may meet people who are older, or you may have an interest in joining groups that are more just like different in comparison to your own, I guess, your own age. And you may enjoy being around older people. You may enjoy being around their wisdom. So that's something that can also occur. But Saturn is making you really take a look at everyone in your life, friendships, your social life, any groups you're involved in. And it's going to make you question whether you can grow with these people, whether they're in alignment with you. And if they are, then, those friendships will remain and be solid. And if there are people in your life that are not meant to be in your life, or, if the soul contract is done and over with, well, it's time to release. So, Saturn in Pisces is going to be transiting your 11th house, and it will be presenting you with much wisdom about the world and people in the future. It'll also be impacting your hopes and wishes for the future. You may be even more serious about what you want to accomplish in the long term, outside of yourself as well, because Pisces is a very compassionate energy. It is similar to the Aquarius energy because you've had Saturn in your 10th house, so perhaps you wanted to do something that was more humanitarian. And with Pisces in your 11th house, and when it comes to your hopes and visions for the future, you may have very spiritual ambitions. You may want to do something for the collective, because Pisces is also the collective consciousness. So that area of your life may also get more serious, and you may be more focused. And all that you've learned with Saturn in your 10th house, you're going to apply it when it comes to what you want for humanity and the world, and what you want to accomplish, especially with other people, because Saturn is going to be in your 11th house. So it's not just about you, it's about the people around you, and also the collective as well. Gemini, Gemini rising. Saturn will be transiting your 10th house. So this is huge when it comes to your career and your work, and what you want to accomplish in this lifetime, what you feel like is like your soul purpose as well, because the 10th house, or the midheaven should I say, is right at the top of the chart. So this is the peak, this is the highest point, which often means our higher calling, which is our soul mission, our soul purpose, why we came here on earth. What do we come to accomplish? Now, we have many, many different higher callings and soul missions and soul lessons and soul purposes. However, one of the main purposes you can find about your life and your existence and your incarnation is through your career and where you put all your time and your energy and your efforts, what you devote your life to. So when Saturn moves into your 10th house, you will feel like you want to do something more spiritual because Pisces is a very spiritual energy. It may even be spirituality that is expressed through creativity and art. I mean, spirituality, creativity, art, they are one and the same because they inspire, they expand, they awaken the heart. I mean, have you ever looked at like a piece of art, whether it's a drawing, painting, or you listen to music, you get like goosebumps because it's activating you, it's expanding you. And during this time, you may take a different approach to your career. You may feel like you need a change. There also may be an ending because Saturn, very much like Pluto, can sometimes bring endings because it clears the karma, any karmic debt that you own. Like it's gonna just release and clear it out for you. And it can also manifest in a crisis, but that's because Saturn is pushing you to be more honest with yourself and really think about the long-term future and what is truly in alignment with you. Like Saturn wants you to truly align with your soul's purpose and not waste any more time because Saturn rules over time. Saturn is the Lord of time, the Lord of karma, and what he teaches us is to utilize our time. All we have in this world is time and energy. So Saturn is like, okay, well, what are you doing with your time? Are you utilizing it? Are you using it wisely? Is it in alignment with your career? Saturn will be asking you those questions. Now, you may feel like you're going through a stressful period of your life with when it comes to career and work. You may feel like you're having a career crisis. You may feel like life is either slowing down or there's limitations and blocks, and that's because Saturn is making you acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged and freed and released. So that's just part of the process. But as long as you are disciplined, structured, and you work hard and you take no days off, like Saturn will acknowledge your hard work, and then Saturn will deliver, will bring you the blessings. Like Saturn tests you. Saturn is like, I don't care about the words. Show me the actions. You know, put your actions into proper use and be efficient. Make it happen and watch the growth. Watch yourself accelerate. Watch the hard work pay off. Like that's Saturn. Saturn is very old school, very traditional, very disciplined, and even if you feel like you're going through a hard time, like Saturn, he doesn't care. He's like, tough. You'll get through it. You can get through it no matter what. So career is huge for you during this transit. You will be taking a look at your career, your work, where you're headed towards in terms of the future, your goals, your ambitions, what you want to accomplish, what is your higher calling. There, like I said, there could be a crisis around this area, and that is because Saturn is just making you really look at the truth of things and is making you take responsibility, accountability, and take control of your life as well. So this is going to be huge for you in terms of career. Cancer, Cancer rising. I'm so happy to tell you that Saturn is moving out of your 8th house and moving into your 9th house. Like, I am happy for you. I'm happy to let you know that all that you have gone through with Saturn being in your 8th house, it is time to move on now. Like, you may be feeling like you're immortal, like you can get through anything because Saturn has been making you go through it, making you go through some very tough lessons. Like it may even have to do with life and death and secrets and the hidden or even money. Like it may have, put you through a tough time, but now that Saturn is moving out of your 8th house into your 9th house, this is going to be a much more easier ride for you. Now, of course, it does depend on your chart because everyone is a unique individual. But overall, this is going to be just easy for you. It's not going to be that much of a challenge at all. This could be great if you want to learn something new, if you want to study, if it has to do with higher education, higher learning, because you're going to be very focused during this time. When it comes to learning something, you need to be focused. You need to have the concentration. You need to be extremely disciplined and be able to take responsibility of your own actions. And with Saturn in the ninth house, Saturn is like, if you want to learn something, if you want to get into higher learning, higher education, like, I'm here. I'm here to support you in it. Like, yes, I've been giving you a rough time with being in the eighth house, but now that you have just grown so much and learned so much, your focus is just so much more stronger now, and you're just so more responsible and disciplined. So if you want to accomplish something in terms of education, this is your time, especially if it has to do with writing as well, writing or communications. Like, you're going to be very focused. Maybe you wanted to get into higher learning or learn something new in the past, but you just didn't get around it. This would be a good time to start that with the support of Saturn. Or perhaps you did get into higher learning or learning something new, but you didn't finish it. So, again, this is Saturn supporting you with completing something that you either wanted to do and you didn't get towards accomplishing, or something that you started but didn't really finish. Great time for that. In terms of your spirituality and your beliefs and philosophies, you definitely will be a little more structured as well. Like, you may see yourself growing even more stronger than with Saturn in the eighth house in terms of your spiritual beliefs. Like, Saturn, the eighth house, made you go through some tough life lessons, like on the human experience level. But with the ninth house, it's about the philosophies and the spirituality. And this is more the mental energy as well. So, Saturn will be making you be more wiser about what actually aligns with you, like what beliefs align with you, who are you, and what you actually resonate with. And are there some beliefs and values and philosophies and spirituality practices that you have that are really not in alignment with you? And if they're not, they're going to be released. Like, Saturn will release them. You may even find that you just shift in terms of like your philosophies and your spirituality. Like, you let some things go. You may feel like you've had like an epiphany during this time where you do not resonate with the things you used to. And the thing with Saturn in Pisces, it will shatter and break all rose tinted glasses. Like, if you've been practicing anything fluffy bunny or anything that isn't completely authentic, like, Saturn will show you the reality of it. And you're going to have to confront it. You're going to have to confront it. So I would expect a lot of people who are going through this transit to have like a complete shift in terms of what they believe in and their spirituality, with the experience of Saturn being in your eighth house and really making you into the phoenix that rises. But then also, when it moves into your ninth house, it will make you focus more on your beliefs and your values and what is truly in alignment with you, so you can have a huge shakeup when it comes to your spirituality during this time. So, just an overall recap: great time to learn something, great time to write and communicate. Maybe you're writing a book or essays, or something that has to do with higher learning, higher education. This is an absolutely great time because you're going to be so focused. You're going to have the discipline, and you're going to have just another mindset. With Saturn in the eighth house, it's been stressing you, and maybe you went through a lot of migraines, but with Saturn in the ninth house, you're just ready to go, 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 and accomplish. So this is a great time for learning something new. Leo rising. Saturn is going to move from your seventh house of relationships, marriage, other people, partnerships, and into your 8th house. And I feel as for you, this is a continuation of any relationship karma, because the 7th house is the house of one-to-one relationships, whether that's a marriage, whether that's a business partnership, or just your relationships with other people. But the 8th house teaches us how to expand even more further when it comes to relationships, especially intimate relationships. So, because you're going to be having Venus in retrograde in your sign this year, relationships are very much emphasized for you. And the 8th house also rules over intimacy. Apart from all the superficial, shallow stuff when it comes to relationships, what else makes relationships work? What makes relationships successful? The intimacy. It's the sharing each other's wounds and pain, and transforming, and being just there for each other through crisis and trauma. What also makes relationships work, or should I say not work out, is the money aspect as well, the shared resources. So all that I've just mentioned, they're going to be huge with Saturn in the 8th house. Like, Saturn definitely slows down, and then it brings limitations. It makes you take responsibility and accountability for your actions. It makes you clear the karmic debt, and there may be stress around shared resources, shared finances, or investments. But Saturn here really wants you to get more serious about this area of life and really take a look at the people in your life, and are they in alignment with you? Like, you're going to be going through this all year round. Are these people truly in alignment with you? Is this relationship working out for you? Is this marriage working out for you? Is this business partnership working out for you? Is this investment truly in alignment with you? Like, you're going to be asked all these questions by Saturn. So this may be a stressful time, because the 8th house, it's not really a fun house, because it does rule over the more serious aspects of life. So as a Leo dominant, you like to have fun, you like to enjoy life, you like to just party and be bold, be fierce, be your inner child, and you love enjoying life. But Saturn here can just slow things down and make you really confront reality. Like, Saturn will remove the rose tinted glasses, it will shatter and break them so that you can see reality for what it is, and it will completely shift your psyche. It will perhaps even, and this is not to project fear, this is just to be real with you, exactly in Saturn's words. Like, Saturn would say the same to you. Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm just here to present the truth and the reality of things that you cannot hide from anymore, that you cannot run away from anymore. And with Saturn in the 8th house, Saturn sometimes can bring the demons from the past, the demons from your psyche, the things that you don't want to confront, the things that are hidden. So this can be a stressful time, but as long as you are completely honest with yourself, and you take responsibility and accountability, and you're disciplined, and you're working hard, and you're structured, and you are confronting all that Saturn is revealing to you, then Saturn will, see and acknowledge all your efforts and give you an easier ride. However, if you try to put up a fight with Saturn, that's when things get challenging. But relationships and intimacy are huge for you this year. So I would expect a lot of developments around relationships, whether that's people being released from your life because those soul contracts are now over, or you having to make a decision. Like, you will have to take life way more seriously during this time, and really take care of your mind, body, soul, and spirit, and take a look at, well, what is Saturn really trying to teach me? Keep on asking yourself that question, and the answer will be revealed. Virgo rising. Saturn will be transiting your 7th house of one-to-one relationships, partnerships. This is also the house of marriage. This is the house that is like a spiritual mirror. So relationships are going to be huge for you. Like, if you are in a relationship, then Saturn will be putting your relationship to the test. Saturn will be putting your marriage to the test. Are you truly in alignment with the person you're with? Are you honest? Are you committed? Are you devoted? Are you responsible? Do you take accountability? If there are any demons or anything you've swept under the rug, like, Saturn will make everything come out. If you haven't taken accountability for your past actions, like if there was some type of relationship issue in the past that you just moved on from, you just got over, but you didn't completely address to its fullest, well, Saturn will bring it up. Saturn wants you to clear the karmic debt so that it won't follow you on. And you have to confront all that Saturn brings to you. You have to confront it and acknowledge it, even if it's stressful. So Saturn can definitely bring stress when it comes to relationships. And this is not to project fear. This is just to be real. Exactly what Saturn will tell you. Saturn in Pisces is going to shatter and break the rose-tinted glasses. He's like, okay, no more rainbows and butterflies. Let's get real. Let's get real. Even if the truth is not pretty, you got to hear it and you got to see it for what it is. And there may also be a relationship block during this time. If your relationship is solid and strong, you'll get through whatever comes your way. It's Saturn just testing your relationship. However, if there is some issue or there've been some challenges, one person or you may feel like you're not able to connect with your partner. You may feel like a block there. Like, this is not a time where you're going to feel romantic, because Saturn is, Saturn brings a melancholy. Saturn brings a lot of restriction, and sometimes it can be depressing. But Saturn is just making you acknowledge your responsibility in a relationship and really testing your relationship. Like, is everything good? Or are we just pretending it's good? Like, that's Saturn for you. Saturn will make you confront the things that you don't want to confront. And often, in relationships, we want to hope and wish for the best and we want to be positive. But Saturn is like, we're not doing any more toxic positivity. No more toxic positivity. Like with Neptune in Pisces in the 7th house, everything was unicorn and rainbows and magical and romantic, but then Saturn just changes that. When Saturn moves into Pisces, it's just going to change absolutely everything. And when we have Venus in retrograde in summer in Leo, it's going to be in your 12th house. So that is addressing the past. That is addressing past relationships. Now, if you are not in a relationship, if you're single, you may feel isolated. You may feel like you feel a little alone, or you feel like you can't connect with others. Maybe if you're dating, you feel like you're not feeling a connection, like you feel limited, you feel blocked from connecting. And that's because Saturn is making you really think about, okay, what is it that you want in a relationship, a partnership? What do you want from other people? So you're going to be going through your own process and really redefining what it means to be in a relationship. What is that you want in another person? So a lot of relationship karma coming up, and karma is no good or bad. Like I said, I'm not here to put any fear. I'm just here to deliver the message of Saturn. And Saturn is the Lord of time, the Lord of karma. He makes us really think about how we're using our time, how we've used our time in the past, and makes us take accountability. So when I say this is a relationship karmic time for you, I mean that you're really going to have to go over your relationships and your time and your energy and your efforts and your experiences and take a look at, well, has this been working? You're just going to be reevaluating your relationships. Relationships in terms of marriage, business partnerships, or just with other people in general, the other people that are in your life. So Virgo rising, a lot of reevaluating. Libra rising. Saturn will be transiting your 6th house of work, daily routine, habits, health, wellness, and being of service to others. So this is definitely going to emphasize and impact your health, because the 6th house, it rules over our health. And opposite to the 6th house is the 12th house, which is our emotional and spiritual health, and they're all intertwined. And with Pisces being in your 6th house, you are extremely sensitive. You're sensitive to energy, to food, to absolutely everything. Like, you are very, very sensitive. You may even be like an intuitive eater with Pisces in the 6th house. And Saturn here wants you to really reevaluate and take responsibility over how you nurture and nourish and take care of yourself. Like, this is emphasizing big time on your health. You may feel a block, you may feel like there's some limitations. Saturn just wants you to acknowledge the things that you perhaps just avoided in the past, or you just kind of like got over, or you didn't really pay much attention to. So, this is a great time to really reevaluate your lifestyle and what's working for you, what isn't working for you. Great time to get more disciplined and structured with your lifestyle. Is there something you can add to really help you get more healthier? Is there a daily routine, a habit, an activity that you can invite and put into your schedule so that you can take care of your health even more, such as like yoga or meditation? I mean, you have your 6th house in Pisces, so it's a very spiritual area of your life. Or is there something you need to release and let go of because it's not really serving you? So these are things that you're going to have to ask for yourself. And this is Saturn, clearing the karmic debt for you. And it does make reality a little more harsh. It does make you take a lot of responsibilities. And with your 6th house in Pisces, this also rules over work. So there can be a slowing down, a limitation, or blocks around work. And this is again redefining your time, your energy, how you're using it. Maybe you feel like you're working hard and you're very disciplined and it's challenging for you and you're still not getting the results that you require. And Saturn is like, you need to just stop complaining. You need to stop complaining and stop whining. And this is not me saying these things. Like, this is actually what Saturn would say to you. Like, if you had to ask Saturn, hey, Saturn, can I have some advice on you transiting my 6th house? Like, this is exactly what Saturn would say to you, because Saturn just strips away, he shatters and breaks the rose tinted glasses, and he's just like, come on, this is reality. Stop complaining, keep on working hard, keep on putting your head down, be disciplined, be structured, work hard, take no days off, and keep on going. And you have to like prove yourself to Saturn. So take care of your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Very important. Take care of your physical body, especially when it comes to your nutrition, what you're eating, how much you're exercising, and also, are you doing anything for your emotional, mental, and spiritual health? Are you doing yoga, something more yin? Are you meditating more? Are you releasing? You can do breath work. Try to do things that are very multifaceted and help you throughout all your different bodies. So the physical body, the energetic body, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, that is very emphasized for you with Saturn in your 6th house. Scorpio rising, Saturn will be transiting your 5th house. Now, as Saturn has been in your 4th house of home, family, the ancestors, your roots, it has definitely challenged you. There may have been a lot of family karma, a lot of things that you've had to revisit from the past, a lot of fears that you've had to perhaps face and overcome. And with Saturn moving into your 5th house, it's going to give you a break, because typically the 5th house is the house of fun. It's the most happiest house. It's where our inner child lives. It's where we are creative, where we enjoy ourselves, where we like to party. It's the house of romance and dating. So when Saturn enters the 5th house, yes, it's not exactly a time where you're going to be, going wild with partying and having a great time, because Saturn is the melancholy. Saturn does bring the gray clouds. However, it will give you the opportunity to be more structured and more disciplined with your creativity. And that's a good thing, because you have an opportunity here with this transit to use your creativity, everything that has inspired you, with especially Saturn being in your 4th house, everything that moves you, all that speaks to your soul. You have the opportunity during this time to get more focused, concentrate more, get more structured, and create something that is so inspirational. Because your fifth house is ruled by Pisces. So you are a very artistic, creative being. You're very intuitive. Your creativity has to move others and inspire others, and it's deep as well. And with Saturn here, you can create so much. Like, you can get into your imagination, tap into your creative gifts and abilities, and really get practical with them and alchemize them. You can turn your ideas into something that is just genius. Like, you can really be an alchemist during this time. So this is an opportunity to reassess and reevaluate all that brings joy into your life, what inspires you, what moves you, what you enjoy, and alchemize all that into like a masterpiece. Like, this is a time where you can create your masterpiece. So yes, when Saturn was in the fourth house, you were clearing the karmic debts from the past, from past lives. When it comes to family karma, you may have gone through some loss, or you've had to overcome some challenges and difficulties. But now Saturn is going to give you a bit of a break, and it's going to give you an opportunity to create, to work with that Pisces energy in a more practical, sober manner. Because Saturn is, he breaks and shatters the rose tinted glasses. He makes us sober up to reality. He makes us face reality, even if it is harsh. And as a Scorpio dominant, I mean, you're used to that because Pluto is your ruler, right? You're used to facing reality for what it is, and nothing else, because you do not like rose tinted glasses. You're the first person that is going to notice when others are viewing from rose tinted glasses. You're the first person that can recognize and then sense, the cobwebs and the demons, the unseen, the hidden. So, of course, that's not your style, but Saturn is just going to make your creative talents and gifts more practical during this time, so that you can work with them and achieve something that you're going to be proud of. Now, when it comes to romance and dating, since this is also the house of fun, which means, dating and relationships, you may find that this area also slows down a bit, because Saturn does slow everything down. It does bring limits and restrictions. So you may feel like you're not really in the mood to date or be that romantic. You rather just work with your gifts and abilities, and be more practical. Or you may take a very practical approach to dating and romance, because usually perhaps you're just a lover. You are a lover, you dive deep. I mean, the Scorpio Dom, you are water ruled. Your fifth house is ruled by Pisces. That's also water energy. So you just dive in deep. But during this transit, you're definitely going to take a more realistic, practical approach when it comes to romance and dating. And you may also, if you have children, you may feel like your responsibilities increase with your children. You may feel like you have to take on more responsibilities and duties. And then Saturn is just going to test you. Saturn is going to test you throughout the board. He's going to test you and see if you can really alchemize your gifts and abilities, if you can really take on the stress, the pressure, which you already can, because you've just gone through Saturn in your fourth house. So we already know that. But Saturn is like, okay, I'm just going to push you a little more. And I want you to create your masterpiece. I want you to take all the lessons that you've learned from me being in your fourth house and apply them. But in terms of Saturn moving into your fifth house, it's not going to impact you that much in terms of how Saturn is impacting others. In fact, this is a great time for you. I mean, I can't stress it more enough that really work with your talents, because as a water dom, you are talented, you're gifted. Your intuition is always revealing insight and an epiphany. So work with this energy, because like I said, you can create a masterpiece during this time. Sagittarius, Sagittarius rising. Saturn will be transiting your fourth house. Now, the fourth house rules over family, our ancestors, our roots, home. This is also a very private area of our life. It's at the bottom of the chart, which is the root area. It's also the womb area. This is where we retreat. This is where we hide. When you're having a bad day, where do you go? Where do you hide? In your home, which is a temple. It's your safety. It's what makes you feel safe and secure. It's where you go to retreat. And Saturn slows things down. It brings forth limitations and restrictions. It makes us take responsibility and accountability of the past. It makes us work hard. It disciplines us. It makes us apply more structure and utilize time more efficiently. And it also makes us confront all the things that we've been running away from. And truly, Saturn is here to clear the karmic debts, or at least help us clear the karmic debts. Now, with Saturn in your fourth house, Saturn may bring stress around family matters, around family karma. It will make you confront the things that you perhaps don't want to confront, or the things that you have just brushed under the rug, or perhaps there was something in the past that had to do with family or home or your ancestors that you didn't quite take responsibility for, you didn't quite acknowledge. That may come right up to the forefront. Like, the fourth house is also a very hidden area of our life because it's home, it's family, it's privacy. So there can be family tension during this time, and that's not to bring fear for you. It's just what Saturn would say to you. Saturn would say to you that I'm here to make you acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged. I'm here for you to really grow into your true potential. And you can only truly grow into your true potential by facing reality for what it is. And reality is not always unicorn and butterfly. Sometimes reality is harsh. Sometimes there is stress around reality. And that's just the human experience. So that's what Saturn would say to you. Now, to make this journey more easier, as long as you address what needs to be addressed, as long as you acknowledge what Saturn is presenting to you, as long as you address the demons, the cobwebs, and you really just confront reality, then this transit will be easier for you. However, if you look the other way, if you run the other direction, if you don't want to confront certain um, past experiences, or if you don't want to confront the tension, then that's when this transit gets more difficult. Saturn here just wants us to grow and have the ultimate human experience. So just know that with this transit, it's just going to bring growth for you. And it's going to help you grow and help you evolve. And as long as you confront what needs to be confronted, as long as you take responsibility, this ride will be smooth. Capricorn, Capricorn rising. Saturn will be transiting your third house. So this is a great time for you to be more structured and disciplined when it comes to communication and also creativity, because with Pisces being your third house, like, you are very creative when it comes to your communication. You may be a poet, a writer, you just may be just great with your words. Like, there's such an artistic flair to your communication. So if you want to, like, start something in terms of writing and communicating, maybe you want to write a book, maybe you started one a very long time ago, or you wanted to but you didn't get to it, now's a good time, because Saturn is supporting you. Saturn is like, okay, I'm going to teach you hard work. I'm going to teach you time management. I'm going to teach you structure and discipline and how to utilize your time. And we're going to get this done. So if you want to start something in terms of writing, communication, this is a great time for you. Now, Saturn also clears a karmic debt. So because the third house rules over siblings, there may be some family karma with siblings that you need to confront. There may be some tension, some demons or cobwebs that you need to release or acknowledge or take responsibility for past actions that it has to do with your siblings. So that may be something that you need to confront. But overall, this is not that challenging for you. Like, it's going to give you a bit of a break. It's been in your second house, but now Saturn will give you a break. It's going to give you a break and make you utilize your gifts and your abilities to create. So work with the Saturn energy because it is supporting you during this time. Aquarius, Aquarius rising. Saturn will be transiting your second house that rules over money, finances, income, what you own, self worth, and value. So during this time, Saturn will make this area of life more serious. It's going to make you be more disciplined, be more structured, and really teach you how to be like a wise elder when it comes to money, how to save more, how to use your money more efficiently. Like Saturn will be teaching you those soul lessons. Now, often with Saturn, the way Saturn helps us grow and evolve and come to maturity and help us to become that wise elder, the sage, is through making us go through some type of limitation, restriction, or obstacle, or even, for some people, crisis. It just depends on how your chart is and what other planets are involved when it comes to Saturn and Pisces in your chart. So, this won't apply to everyone, but Saturn often makes us persevere and overcome blocks and obstacles. It makes us really put on our thinking hat and use our time more efficiently, more effectively, utilize our time because that's all we have here. We have time and energy, how we utilize our time and how we utilize our energy. So, this is the area where you'll be taking way more seriously. So, Saturn will actually help you save more money, it will help you save more and spend less. Like it will come through and really help you be more strategic with money as well. And for you, that's what you need. If you're ruled by Pisces in this area of life, then you definitely need that Saturn energy to really make you more practical, make you more realistic, remove any rose tinted glasses. Like that's what Saturn does. Whatever area of life it activates, it will remove those rose tinted glasses, it will shatter them, and it will make you see reality for what it is. So, this is a time where you're going to be very focused and you're going to concentrate on money, income, and also how you view yourself. How you view yourself, how you value yourself. You will also be really questioning, who am I? Am I defined by money? What makes me feel good? What makes me feel like I am, valued, that I'm worth it? Like these questions will come up into your subconscious. So pay attention because sometimes, Saturn can come. Well, I say sometimes, not necessarily sometimes, more like all the time. Saturn comes with a melancholy. Like Saturn is bleak, it's dull, it comes with a gray clouds. So it can definitely impact you when it comes to your self-worth and value. And you just got to tap back into the Aquarian energy and remind yourself that you are from the future, okay? You are futuristic AF, and know your worth, know your self-value, and don't let anybody make you feel any type of way, not even Saturn. However, Saturn does want you to play by his rule books, and if you want to make this transit go more smoothly, then just put in the hard work, be more focused, concentrate more, be more disciplined and structured when it comes to money. And whatever Saturn makes you acknowledge and confront around this area, you just got to face it and you got to do as Saturn says, otherwise he makes it more challenging. However, with that being said, I mean, Saturn is just going to move out of your first house. I mean, it's been impacting you quite a lot, like just making you redefine life. You may feel like a completely different person. You may feel like you've just lived so many different lifetimes and you feel like you are a sage at this point, like you are a wise elder. So now Saturn is like, okay, now that you have learned all those different soul lessons, it's time to apply them as well. And all the wisdom that I've passed on to you, all the wisdom that I've taught you, be an embodiment of it and apply it when it comes to your money, your finances, what you own. Take this area of life more seriously and be more considerate of this area of life. And the more you start to focus, the more Saturn will then reward you. So, Saturn for you is going to be activating your second house of money, income, finances, and your self worth and value. Pisces, Pisces rising. Saturn is going to be in your first house. It's going to be in your sign. So when Saturn moves into your sign, I mean, it's going to be impacting you the most out of all the other zodiac signs. Like life is going to get real. And as a Pisces rising, Pisces dominant, Life for you needs to feel like a movie. It needs to feel like a fairy tale. It needs to be full of magic and inspiration. You are extremely highly sensitive, and the harshness that Saturn can bring can be really difficult and challenging for you, because Saturn, when it moves into a new sign, it removes all the rose tinted glasses associated with that sign. So anything that you romanticize or glamorize, anything that you don't take seriously, anything that you need to acknowledge, like Saturn will make you see, feel, hear, and go through it. So for you, this can be a very challenging time, because you are completely the opposite to what Saturn represents. Saturn is this elder, the wise sage. He disciplines you, he teaches you challenging soul lessons, he pushes you to your limits. He makes you really reevaluate your life, how you're using your time, how you're managing your time. He can sometimes also bring crisis and your deepest fears, but he ultimately, what he's doing is making you clear the karmic debt and making you evolve into the more mature version of yourself, the more wiser version of yourself. So because this is going to be impacting your first house, this is impacting you just on every level: mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, just your entire life direction, your entire existence. So you may be going through with this transit some challenging lessons, and Saturn would want you to know that I'm just here to teach you some soul lessons. And soul lessons don't happen when life is good, when life is unicorn and in rainbows. Soul lessons can only truly be understood and mastered and embodied to push you to your greatest potential when you go through some type of crisis or challenge. So be prepared, because you are a very sensitive being, and the harshness of Saturn can sometimes be very uncomfortable for you. But Saturn is like, we just have to wake up from the fairy tale. We have to remove those rose tinted glasses, and we just have to get rid of the toxic positivity. And we got to address life for what it is. No more romanticizing anything, no more, glamorizing things that are toxic. And let's just say it how it is. Let's just see everything for what it is. So you're going to be going through a huge, huge shift during this time. You may even find that your spiritual beliefs and values and practices shift. You may feel like, hang on a minute, the things that I was really into or that I really enjoyed or practiced, like they're not even in alignment anymore, because you're going to be so much more serious during this time, and nothing is going to, like, anything mediocre or anything that's like fluffy bunny, it's just not going to resonate with you anymore. So there may be a lot of reevaluating and releasing, and you may find yourself, like, by the end of this transit, you may find that you're just a completely different person. Like, you've lived many, many lifetimes, and you have just learned so many different soul lessons, and you're just a different person. Like, your whole life is going to be shifting and changing. Whatever you need to address from the past, whatever you need to take responsibility for, accountability for, whatever you need to really acknowledge and confront is going to come up to the surface. And Saturn wants you to just be an adult about it. Don't look the other way. Don't run the other direction. Just face whatever comes your way. The more you show Saturn that you are taking accountability, that you are a responsible being, that you are disciplined, that you are structured, that you work hard, the more you apply those traits, those hardworking traits, the more Saturn will make this journey more smoother for you and reward you. So this is a time where life will be more serious. You will be more focused on just your overall life direction, where you're headed. Anything that is not in alignment with you will need to be released. Anything that has been ignored or not acknowledged or that has been shoved under the rug will come out. You will have to address things, challenges, issues from the past. This is all about clearing the karmic debt. And by the end of this transit, you will truly become like a wise elder. Like, will have learned so much soul lessons. Like, you're just going to be a different person, and this is crucial for your soul's evolution.